Welcome to another video. Now today, we're going to be doing a little bit of a interesting thing. We are not only going to be doing ranting, but we're going to be playing Haymaker VR. Now Haymaker's a really good game, I like it a lot, but I'm going to be doing ranting and talking about a personal thing that I want to do in the future while beating the shit out of people. Now, why those things I guess that I don't know where that opened. Why those two things go together is because it's more interesting if I'm ranting when I'm playing a game that I haven't played before on the channel. So let's go, everybody. Oh, I have to do that.
You never should have come here.
Ooh. Let's rock the guy's world. Anyway, what I'm going to be ranting about today is my general, the reasons why I started this YouTube channel. Now I started this channel to, have some kind of legacy, to have people remember me, because, I want to have an impact. I want to have an influence. A lot of the people I, look up to, creators of shows, stuff like that, I want to have, the same level of remembrance, if I can cultivate this YouTube channel and get an audience. Because, I could do better things than posting unedited VR content. I mean, I'm even doing good in this sphere, as you guys know. In this VR sphere. 17 subscribers isn't a lot, but for a 2-month-old YouTube channel that's ran by someone as indecisive with content and isn't that good at it, like me, and who doesn't edit videos and just post raw footage, is pretty monumental for me. Pretty monumental. Because, eventually I want to get out of, being like this, unedited YouTube videos where I'm just a man behind a screen talking talking during a recording on the headset here. I want to be able to do in-person content, maybe make another channel just called Wonderizer. The Wonderizer VR, and just maybe talk more about other things and do other things that aren't VR. But that's an eventual thing that might happen if I'm able to get up to a level of fame on this channel, which I do believe I'm going to be able to accomplish. Because after all, I turned 0 subscribers into 17 with the content I'm posting now, so what's a couple hundred more once I've got momentum? Not a couple hundred more. What's a couple hundred? Now I've got momentum, I really like the momentum that I've gotten on YouTube. Out of, the 2 other YouTube channels I've started that died almost instantly, I feel like, I could go. I could keep going. I could get big. Because time isn't not an issue for me. I'm not like the other YouTubers who might have started their YouTube channels when they were 20 or something, and then years down the line they want to retire. I have plenty of years on me. I got plenty of time to continue being the man you see here and doing the things that you see me doing. Beating people up, and messing with people and just trolling, I think it's fun. And my content is going to get a more serious shift, I'd say, very soon. This is a big marketing thing where I'm talking about, things I want to do in my life. I want to be remembered. And now, another thing that I want to talk about is, I've been doing this recently. I've been writing a lot about this, superhero character I've created in my mind that I'm going to make its own video about this. So I'm just going to talk about, my general, theses on writing and why I started. Ever since I was able to talk, I've been somewhat of a storyteller. So, writing these things down and knowing, having an overarching character in my stories is something I've wanted to do, and I have. Now, this character is going to be a kind of really powerful, superhero guy. I'm going to kind of write him a little bit comedically. because like all the ideas I had for him make him so strong to the point where if it's not written comedically, it's just literally a god amongst men. You know? Because I didn't give him too many weaknesses in the context of the story, outside of like an ability that only his, like what he comes from, like the alien race that he is, can really inflict on each other, which is something I'll go in more into detail on its own video. I just want to drop this real quick. Now, dude's dodging all my punches. This is Jackie Chan? Jesus. Kung Fu Master. Anyway. Enough of... Goddamn. Never mind, not enough of that, I guess. Stay down. Alright, anyway. Back to the relative talking points of this video. Another thing I would think would help me a lot on my YouTube journey is getting like a group of guys to play with. You know, do like a little something like, you know, how the boys YouTube channel started out with like a group on VR, you know, because that's kind of the arc I want to have, you know.
I'm gonna knock your teeth.
Doing the type of shit that they do in the modern day, like exploring abandoned buildings, but like talking, you know, putting my ideas for my writing, giving it a place to be, an audience to listen to it, which is something that a lot of people like me, I thought I heard something being picked up, which is something a lot of people like me wouldn't even be trying to segue to. Like a lot of people doing my kind of VR content would they want to be like, in today's video, I played VR Among Us with a fanboy, like weird shit like that is eventually what they go to, you know? They eventually like start playing Steam VR games and like become their own little niche thing. But I don't want to be forever as the VR guy. I mean, it's fun, but hell is it unsustainable. Because I'm doing this stuff literally for the love of the game. I post videos for the love of the game. Because it would take me years at the current rate I've grown in my YouTube journey, it would take me years to even get close to being monetized. You know? So this is just literally so I have somewhere to put down my thoughts almost, you know, with like so much ranting stuff on YouTube. So what I'm trying to say is I have a lot of funny moments and I do a lot of cool things that I think people on YouTube would end up liking. That's why I started the YouTube channel, you know, to eventually one day be one of the guys I watch, you know? Be one of the VR guys and be like, yo, you gotta watch these guys post, dude. You know? That's the thing I was always, you know, thought about with this VR journey. And down from everything, from the evolution of my YouTube name, I went from Dodge to Dodge VR to Supernova VR Gaming, which was absolutely abhorrent. And, you know, the video about my superhero guy, that name would make a lot more sense. You know. Something on say, the superhero guy's name is going to be Supernova. It's like my whole branding almost on my VR account is being named that. So I've been coming up with ideas for this character for a long time. He's had so many iterations, you know. I've already come up with a whole multiversal theme, you know, characters that he could contend against. I got a whole overflowing mind of ideas. Anyway, like I said, it's going to get its own video sometime soon. You know, if you couldn't tell, my videos are not scripted. There's no script. I'm just saying whatever comes to my mind. So I'm stuttering so much. And just relative bouts of silence, you know, just saying things to say things. I keep going back on points. Anyway, about that. New serious content is coming up, like I'm trying to say there. I'm going to be doing more forays into VR chat and just doing that more and generating more of a personality about myself. Finding people I play with, finding my niche, maybe doing some roleplay content. Or exposing people for doing roleplay. As in, like, some freaks in the back of a McDonald's world. RPing is, like, I don't know. Doing something freaky and RPing as gay anime characters or something, because I saw that, like, the guys who do the Deku thing. Like, oh, Bakugan! I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't even know what Bakugan or whatever the fuck is. My personal... not personal. See, this is why I need scripts. This is why, I said Bakugan instead of whatever the fuck his name is. Because that's like showing my relative, like, attitude of not caring. I didn't mispronounce it on purpose. What? That... Huh? I didn't do it not on purpose. This is why I need a script, guys. This is, as you can tell, it's all over the place. Just like this guy's blood. Scrubbed him by the back like a petulant child. Bink. Bop. Just dodging my strikes. Like I have some of the most obvious punches in the world. Here it comes. Wrong button. I call this one the nipple twist. A punch to the arm after all of that was what put him down. You know what? Go to sleep. Anyway, yeah, like I said, a punch to the arm after getting your shit rocked is the thing that puts you down. He's absolutely crazy. This video might get age restricted because of the amount of blood that's on the wall. Took a barrel roll. Big thing about my future content is it's not going to be at this coordinate as some of my former content, you know, with the whole VR chat ranting that lasted 2 episodes with one of them getting like 2 views. To date, I think, like 2 views. And I will, because I know the reception on those videos is just too much to ignore, I will be doing more MeowNet. And apparently more Hard Bullet as well, because that one YouTube short I made about Hard Bullet, my gun shooting gun, 1.2K. Highest viewed thing I've put out is insane. And then the MeowNet, the first MeowNet video being 500 and something, not subscribers, 500 and something views, being my highest viewed thing, and I just like did some more, did a little bit more MeowNet stuff, but most of it was MeowNet madness when I was like, oh, it's like temper. I think I honestly do. I got it straight on my thoughts. I honestly do think that, like, you don't have permission to play this game wasn't them, like, doing an update like I thought. I think I was actually just temporarily banned. Because the moderators, they wilded. Like I said in that video, after the very obvious cut, because I was hallucinating someone knocking on my door. After the very obvious cut, like I was saying, pick up all this cut and you N-words, and it was like blasted across the screen. So either there's a hacker, or it was the moderators, and the nepotism and the moderation. Like, there was this dude with his friend, and it's like the other kid who was like talking to the dude who had the moderator friend. He's like, get that guy out of here. Banned. Or like at least kicked. I don't know. They wilded us. The only good part about the Rec Room revivals, really, is the fact that, you know, they're Rec Room revivals. And the fact that, you know, they don't care about moderation enough to where it's like peak Rec Room, where there's some random dude cursing up a storm in the corner. And like, it allows for funny moments, you know? Like, oh, fuck, oh, he's gonna touch me. Or like, funny moments in like, my kind of like weird humor, you know? Anyway, I actually do, now that I'm thinking about it, episode 2 of the VR chat ranting probably got so little views because it's about furries, so the title was VR chat ranting, episode 2, furries, or it's like, I didn't type it incorrectly, so it's like there's no captions on it, and like no one's searching up furries to find that, and people on the Wonderizer channel are just gonna look at the MeowNet thing, like the one's more enticing than whatever that was. Like the VR chat e-boys, which is a more, you know, reputable situation. That everyone hates on e-boys, but not everybody hates on furries, because there's a lot of furries and they like themselves, you know? So they won't hate on themselves. A lot of people playing VR chat are just gonna have some connection to the furries. Whether it be love, hate. Me personally, it's hate. Not a thing I've seen them do. Oh, I'm allergic to that. Allergic to Phantom Domain. That was a horrible video. That was one of the worst videos on all of YouTube. Not in the fact that the person who made it was wrong. It was painful to watch. Stop! I'm allergic to your tomatoes. My throat is closing. My throat is closing. Oh. The fact that they can talk while doing that. It's like, oh, Daddy, protect me. Like, what? I gotta stop talking about this before I start making this into another furry VR chat hate video. The fuck am I, Superman? How did I throw that guy like that? Gotta see the stars. Anyway, I'm gonna throwing that man around. Big thing is, I want to have a kind of legacy. I want to have a reputation. You know, like the original thought out for this video is I was gonna be ranting about how I probably could have about how one of the biggest inspirations is the guy who created Murder Drones, the one Glitch show. I'm like, oh, because I watched a YouTube short about him disappearing from the internet afterwards, you know, because he retired and everything. Like, I want to have some kind of legacy, you know, because I've been inspired by these showrunners of Glitch, you know, that made these wonderful things, but then made poor decisions. So anyway, goodbye everyone. Don't forget to stay wonderful, because I'm getting so off track, I'm ending the video here. Good night, everybody.